Yeah, but I think you're right. I think they made a concerted effort to attack the paint coming out at a halftime. The Warriors really don't have shot blocking. So I think they were more aggressive to collapse the defense with the dribble drive to finish first. But then the turnovers led to wide open threes in transition. You mentioned points in the paint, 66-46. Second chance points, 22-15 -7. And fast break -7, 21-14. And you add that to the points off turns -16. All the hustle points went the Hawks' way. And it was really that 6-minute segment. Because both teams played really well in the first half, efficient offensively, took pretty good care of the basketball. But coming out of halftime, I mean, the Warriors really got bombarded by the Hawks' defense, and they turned that defense into offense.
And this is 2 nights in a row, Mully, where the Warriors have let off the gas pedal right around the midway mark of the second quarter into the third quarter. Last night, the Pistons, they go on a 23-7 run going into halftime, and they blow it away in the second half. Similar results tonight against Atlanta.
Yeah, we talked about that pregame, about getting off to a good start is important, but maintaining and playing through some tough times within that game and not just letting up on the road. And that's what it looked like that 6 minutes, much like last night's second half. And you mentioned that the bench looked defeated. Tonight, once again, as you're missing shots, you're making turnovers, the transition defense wasn't there. Looked like they got demoralized by their turnovers. It's weird to see a game flip and end in 6 minutes. Usually there's some resistance there.
Right.
You make a run back, and all of a sudden you have to win it in the fourth quarter. That game was over in 6 minutes.
And what was so tough is that you kind of could see this could happen, mainly because in that first half, defense wasn't established. And the Warriors have have to have some level of defensive identity. And so it was great to be able to see them hit their shots, but then you also have to have some sort of resistance, as Mully is saying. And because you saw them you allowed the Atlanta Hawks to have 128 offensive rating in the first half. You know that if you don't find a way to turn off that water, it's just going to keep flowing, and that's exactly what happened at the top of the third.
We talk about that first half with C.J. McCollum and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They combined for only 15 points. You mentioned it. C.J. and Na will wake up in that second half, and that's what they did. But it all started with Dyson Daniels. He's a 12% three-point shooter on the season. Mully, you mentioned, hey, maybe you leave him open. But Zena, we watched that first quarter and said, yeah, that may have been a mistake. He scores a season-high 28 points. And Jalen Johnson, who? He replaced Jalen Johnson with Jalen Johnson-like numbers, 28, 7, and 6, including the 4 steals, Zena, in 71 consecutive games in which Dyson Daniels has come up with a steal.
Dyson Daniels has always been the glue for the Hawks. Even when Trae Young was there, it didn't matter who was out there, he was always going to do his job in terms of setting up things for his teammates on the offensive side and then being able to play defense and locking down folks on the defensive side. But tonight, he saw a gap, he saw an opening, and he went to the basket. Like, let's just remember that most of his buckets were within the restricted area. It wasn't too many three-pointers going up. It was really just getting by defenders. And so he was just straight up using his first quick step and getting by defenders.
Yeah, Dyson Daniels obviously makes a living off his defense. Defensive Player of the Year last year, I believe. He's going to be a candidate, many seasons to come because of his incredible length, his deflections, and he turns that defense into offense. But I think a key with him, Bonte and Zena, he was getting layups first and foremost. He shot open threes. He was 2 of 5 from 3. 10 of 12 from 2. Yeah. And those twos, he hit some tough runners.
Right.
But I think when you have the confidence that you can get by your man at will and get into the paint, you start feeling good about yourself. And the basket gets really big.
7 of those field goals. He goes 10 to 12 in the paint. 7 of those field goals inside the paint were right at the rim.
That's what I'm saying. He was just getting by defenders over and over again. And as someone that we know, Dyson Daniels watches a lot of film, he probably already saw this. This is an opportunity, an exposure point for the Warriors. Let me just go at their point of attack, especially at an angle. And knowing that they didn't have the rim protection that the Warriors don't have inside, I got an opportunity. He took advantage.
So, he's the typical guy, if you're guarding him, you give him a little space at the 3, and you have him shoot contested 2s. Not dead layups. Yeah. The layups are what gets your confidence going. Because if he's pulling up contested 2s and missing them, that starts going the other way. He starts getting a little reluctant. But the fact that he's laying the ball in, his confidence starts soaring, and all of a sudden he's knocking down 3-point shots. He was 2 for 5, which will help his 13% from 3-point range. But you're right, Bonte. He looked very similar to Jalen Johnson tonight, who was out.
No doubt. And then you get C.J. McCollum, who only had 8 points at the half. Well, he got rolling in that third quarter for the Atlanta Hawks. He was pivotal during that 27-5 run. 15 points in that third quarter. He finishes with 23. 10 of 16 from the floor. And usually he throws up those numbers by hitting a three-point shot. He only made 1 3 tonight, Z, because he is going to the rim. Again, Quinn Snyder told these boys at halftime, hey, attack the basket. Let's challenge him at the rim. And CJ had a lot of success doing that.
We just watched this clip. He went by Will Richards. He went by Nate Williams. He went by D'Anthony Melton, 3 of the most athletic people on this Warriors roster, all just because he decided to put his head down. Sure, he had to go a little bit, side to side when D'Anthony Melton was guarding him, but this is just someone assessing, y'all don't really want to defend me. That's what Dyson Daniels did in the first half. This is exactly what C.J. McCollum did in the second half. He probably learned from his boy. Listen, I got it this time. I'm going to go to the basket. C.J. McCollum was put on a show reminding folks that he's been around for a while.
C.J. McCollum looks rejuvenated.
Yep.
He looks really healthy. Looks like he's in a little bit better shape than I remember him in New Orleans. The efficiency numbers in 29 minutes, 10 for 16. And he's usually, not exclusively, but more of a three-point shooter, spot-up guy. And again, Bonte, I think there was a concern of just get to the paint and then read the play. As they're going to the paint, there was no resistance, and those shots become easy for those guys. But I think that's a low-key, big-time pickup for them. Yep. We know he's a great veteran, great leader, but he looks like he's back, in really good shape, healthy, and playing at a high level, averaging 18 off the bench.
Yep, McCollum, Kispert, Londell, and, of course, Jonathan Kuminga. By the way, C.J. McCollum in that third quarter, 7 of 8 from the floor, 15 points to put it away. Well, let's talk about J.K., who was playing against his former team for the first time in his career, and he struggled from the floor. Warriors defended him very well. You see here on the fadeaway jumper, Draymond just put a hand in his face. He was 1 of 9 from the floor. I believe he missed his first 7 shots of the basketball game, just 4 rebounds, 2 assists later in the game. He was touching his knee. But I thought the Warriors made J.K. put the ball on the floor. And right now in his young career, Zena, that is the weakness of his game.
It's interesting. The Warriors' defense was not as good on stopping Dyson Daniels or C.J. McCollum, but you're seeing in these clips that the swarm was there. Anytime he tried to attack the paint, there was help rotating over and being able to put a hand in his face or just making him uncomfortable, which was forcing Jonathan Kuminga to start trying to dribble, doing turnaround fadeaways, doing things that is not inside the game that we have seen him have here in Atlanta. So he was just a little bit out of character tonight, but I think there was a lot going on probably getting him excited for the game.
Yeah, he probably tried a little bit too hard. This is by far his worst game in a Hawks uniform. Hawks still get the W, which is a concession for them. But for J.K., the Warriors obviously have a scouting report on him. He was playing against a set defense. Seemed like every shot he took was the exact shot the Warriors, when he was a part of the Warriors, the shots they didn't want him to take. So he put him in, they got him in tough spots, played really good defense on him, and forced him into a horrible game.
But he'll take the win. He hasn't lost yet when he's hit the court for the Atlanta Hawks. They are now 12-1 in their last 13 games, 13-2 since the All-Star break. And they beat the Warriors 7 consecutive times in that building, the State Farm Arena, of course, in Atlanta. The Warriors have a quick turnaround. They'll scrimmage tomorrow in Atlanta and then get ready for the Dallas Mavericks as they fall to 1-4 on this road trip. We'll hear from Kerr on the other side. Toyota Warriors Postgame Live. Toyota Warriors Postgame Live is presented by Toyota. Class-leading MPG and more hybrid models